the appropriate city to do this.
Yes, sir. Yes, you are.
You know, it was Shakespeare that said, some are born to greatness. Some have greatness thrust upon them. It was the Greek historian Herodotus said that when it comes to tragedy and things like that, that we do not rule circumstances, circumstances rule us. Now, when I was a little kid, growing up across the bay over here in Staten Island, I never ever imagined that my time would come where I would be thrust into a situation where I had no control over. Now, will be 40 years next year. There was a situation that happened, and it was called the PMRC. And there were hearings done in Washington, D.C. And 2 days later, Frank Zappa and myself stood on a stage just around the corner here, and we talked about the evils that would come about that, because censorship is an ugly, ugly thing. And it ain't just in music. It happens in all forms of life. Now, down the street here in Lower Manhattan, there's a chapel down there, and it's called the St. Paul's Chapel. We now know it as the chapel from 9/11. But before that, when George Washington was elected the first president of the United States, after he was sworn in the federal building, he walked into that street, and he walked onto that chapel, and he consecrated the United States of America to God Almighty, right there on that spot. The very first amendment of our Constitution guarantees freedom of speech. Our founding fathers were genius enough to know that if you can control speech, you can control thought. And these men knew this. These were great men. Fast forward a couple of hundred years, 250 almost. Now we have a situation in the last 6-8 years, we find censorship again rearing its ugly, ugly head. Now this time it's on the internet. And it's affecting every single one of us. Tonight, you may not be aware, but right next door to us over here in the garden, there is a man who has undergone attempt after attempt, assassinations on his life, and this man has stood up for this country. He's right next door right now at the garden. Now, I got two things that I'm passionate about the most. One of them is that freedom of speech. And the other one is about being a patriot. Because I'm here to tell you, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, you need to be a patriot of this country. I am willing to die for this country. I believe in it that much, and that man next door, he believes in it too. I only got one more thing to say before we go, 'cause I'm blind in Texas!